Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Sergio Vidal with Sergio Vidal Cooking Recipes, and on this episode, we're going to be making a traditional Portuguese meat bread. Merry Christmas to everybody. All right, so for Portuguese Christmas tradition, this is a family recipe that I normally make. It's basically a layered meat bread. We're going to be adding in chorizo, bacon, ham. This is going to be a really delicious layered meat bread recipe that you guys can try. If not for Christmas, since today is Christmas Eve, why not for New Year's? All right, let's get right started with the ingredients. So in my mixing bowl, I'm just going to sift in 8 cups of all-purpose flour. So 8 whole cups. We're going to sift them in one by one. I'll add a second one in there. So there we have 2. All right, I'm going to continue this process. So there goes 2. I'm going to continue this, and we'll move on with the next steps. All right, welcome back, guys. So we have our 8 cups of all-purpose flour sifted in this large mixing bowl. What I like to start... Make sure your hands are clean, by the way. I did wash my hands. Well, I'll be using my hands to knead the dough and everything. So what I like to start to do is create a well in the middle. This is where we're going to add in our dry yeast, some sugar, a bit of salt, and then just do a small little, I don't know what you would call this, but just another well around the edges there. So one in the middle, and then another well here on the side. So we're like kind of creating like a volcano type of shape here. All right. So just going around with your fingers, giving that a nice indentation around the sides and in the middle. All right. Let me just wipe off my hands. Grab a dry towel here. All right. In the middle, we're going in with 2 whole packets of Baker's dry yeast, just regular dry yeast. So adding in 2 packets. There goes 1. The second. All right, we're gonna put in 1 whole tablespoon of sugar. The sugar helps activate the yeast. So 1 whole tablespoon regular granulated white sugar. Around the little side here that we created, the indentation around the side, we'll pour in 1 cup of vegetable oil. All right, make sure you're not pouring it on top of the yeast, just around the sides, around those indentations that we made there. All right, I've warmed up 2 cups of regular milk in the microwave, roughly for about a minute or so. So make sure you got a nice warm cup of milk so that we can help that yeast activate. Right in the middle of the well that we created, pour in your first cup. Pouring in the second cup. This is a delicious bread dough recipe that just works perfectly for this meat bread. We're also adding in 1 teaspoon of salt for flavor. So 1 whole teaspoon, just regular table salt, okay? We don't want too much because the chorizo, the bacon, and the ham that we're going to put in will have salt, and that will incorporate into your bread, okay? So I put the salt, as you've seen, around on top of the oil, not in the middle, because salt actually stops the fermentation process with yeast. So I'm going in with my clean hands, and we're going to start mixing up our mixture. All right, I do have flour reserved, so we may need additional flour, so make sure that you have some additional flour reserved in case we need to go back in there and just add a little bit more. Right, I'm going to keep going, folding this in, with my hands. All right, kneading the dough. We're trying to form a nice rounded dough here. All right, I'm going to continue to knead the dough, and we'll move forward with the next steps here. All right, welcome back, guys. So I seen that my dough is just a little bit dry, so I warmed up a little bit more milk here. Just in this cup, about 3/4 cups of milk, but we're not adding everything. I'm just going to gradually add in a couple of drops while mixing, while continuing to knead the dough, okay? We'll go in a couple of drops at a time and get a good feel for the texture. I'm going to add in just a couple drops of regular vegetable oil as well. So I'd say just roughly 2 more teaspoons of oil and about a tablespoon and a half extra of some regular milk. We'll continue to get a feel for this. Probably gonna add in just a bit more milk. Roughly another tablespoon. And just continue kneading. All right, I'm just adding just another couple drops of milk. You'll keep alternating just a few more drops of oil. All right, until we get a nice smooth dough. All right, just keep incorporating that while kneading. This should create us a nice smooth dough. Just gotta be patient when it comes to bread making. There's a lot of kneading involved. This is why I like to use my hands, so you can get a really good feel for this this bread recipe. All right. Continue to knead. So just basically folding and using your fist down, just folding and pushing inward. That's basically all I'm doing. It's not too difficult. All right, guys, welcome back. After kneading for 10 minutes, couple pauses in between, can be a little bit tiring on the hand, but 10 minutes, added about another 2 tablespoons or so of oil, another 2 or 3 tablespoons of milk gradually. You'll get a good feel for your dough texture. It will be a little bit oily because of that oil, but that's what helps the texture of this bread also be very, very nice and delicate. So we're just gonna form a nice dough ball here. Just giving that a nice punch with my fists. Just gonna bring that dough together, just bringing the edges towards the middle, towards the back middle. All right, just going around, and I'm just tucking my fingers inward towards the middle, okay? This dough is gonna rise for about an hour and a half or so. An hour and a half, 2 hours. All right, we're just gonna drizzle some oil, just so our dough doesn't dry. I'm just gonna grab my brush, just brush the top with some oil. Then we'll just put a nice clean cloth, put this in your oven without it being turned on. Got a little bit of the bristle brush there. Without it being turned on, with a nice clean towel. Let it rise, again, for roughly about 2 hours. All right, that should be perfect. Just gonna grab my towel and in the oven without being on. The reason why you usually put it in the oven is because there's less draft and there are less wind draft. And that way, you know your dough is gonna form properly. All right, I'll see you guys in 2 hours. All right, guys, welcome back. So it's been 2 hours and our dough has been rising. It's risen double in size. As you can see here, it's risen beautifully. All right, I have a 13 by 10 roasting pan, which I've drizzled in some vegetable oil. we're just gonna lightly grease our roasting pan. Some oil, just regular vegetable oil. All right, make sure you get all of the sides. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. All right, the oil's just gonna help so that this delicious layered meat bread doesn't stick to your baking pan, okay? All right, so I'm roughly using a 13 by 10. You can use something just slightly larger, something slightly smaller, but it doesn't need to be kind of deep in length, okay? All right, as we're creating layers with this delicious meat bread. So I'm just gonna get that off to the side. All right, guys, so we have some Portuguese chouriço. I've cut up 2 Portuguese chouriços. If you can't find Portuguese, try to get Spanish or Italian. This Portuguese chouriço is flavored with red wine, paprika, garlic, and I bought about 24. I went to my local butcher, got 24 slices of bacon, really good fresh quality bacon. I fried it up here, all 24 strips, all right, to a nice crisp. All right, just leaving a little bit of that fat, just a little bit. And we also have here some ham and some larger slices of chouriço, Portuguese chouriço. You're probably not going to be able to find that. We call that chourição in Portuguese culture. I went to a local Portuguese butcher in my locality to find that. So if you can't find it, it's fine. You can use the bacon, the chouriço slices again, thinly sliced. And the ham, you can add in just those 3 bits and it'll come out perfect, all right, this meat bread. All right, so we're gonna get started with our dough. Just gonna get that out of our mixing bowl. Came out beautifully. Just gonna move over the camera so you guys can get a better view there. All right, we're just gonna add some flour just to the top. Also add it to your working surface, just around the dough there. All right, working with fresh, clean hands. This dough came out beautifully, beautifully. So I'm gonna cut this into about 4 portions. So down the middle, down that way as well. There, I got nice 4 portions of dough here that we'll be using. All right, so we can create our layers. Just gonna get that off to the side. Just a bit more flour. Get flour over your rolling pin. So we're gonna work on our first layer. You want it basically the size of the roasting pan. Needs to be going over. I'm probably just gonna rob a little bit of dough from these dough balls as well, because the first layer should be just a little bit on the thicker side. So just gonna rob a little bit of that dough there. All right, welcome back, guys. I just gave myself a bit more working space because that wasn't working out. So, all right, I think you guys can see this better as well. So we just added a bit more dough. Add just a little bit more flour. Lightly dust. All right, just helps you to roll out your dough with your rolling pin. Just gonna grab a bit more flour, a bit more dough from these dough balls here. Because like I said, the bottom layer should be on the thicker side. Just gonna grab a little bit more flour, lightly dust. All right, and we're just gonna mold this again to the size of the baking pan. You don't want to go too thin, so leave it a bit on the thicker side. All right, we're just gonna mold this together into a nice rectangle shape. I'm gonna grab my roasting pan, which we've already greased with a bit of oil. So this should be quite easy. Just gonna flip this around. We're just gonna fold the dough over the roasting pan. Have the edges flip over. We'll then mold it better. Once we get this into our roasting pan, we'll add some more dough. So just continue to go around, pressing your dough together. Wherever you find any holes, press down. I'm gonna just rub a bit more dough. All right, flatten it out with your hands, with your fingers. We're just gonna place it in the areas that we're seeing that could use just a bit more dough, like on the sides. All right, so we got our first layer done here. Dough is all around the edges, all the way up to the top of the baking pan here. Let's start topping off with our ingredients. So we'll start off with some ham. I'm just gonna shred some slices of ham in here. Just any type of fresh ham that you can find at your local grocery store, your local butcher. So we're just shredding some pieces all around. We're gonna be layering this with the Chouriço next. So again, I got Portuguese Chouriço, but if you can find Spaniard or Italian, if you can find the Portuguese, even better. Again, it's flavored with paprika and garlic. So we're gonna continue to just layer a couple more pieces there. You want a bit of every flavor. So the ham, the bacon, the chorizo, all around this wonderful dish. Let's do some chorizo slices. Just bringing the light over a little bit closer. There we go. All right, we got our chorizo nicely layered over the ham slices. Let's do some bacon. So delicious bacon. I already fried them to a crisp. And just shredding over your first layer here. All right, we got our bacon nicely incorporated there. I'm just gonna add in our bigger slices. Basically, this is what it is. Chouriço is nicer, larger slices of chorizo. So they're like really nice, almost salami type slices of chorizo. If you can find that, like I said, just add in the bacon. Your favorite spicy chorizo, either it comes from Portugal, Spain, Italy, where it comes from, at least make sure it comes with a good flavor of wine, paprika, garlic. It's gonna give your meat bread a really good flavor when it cooks in our oven. All right, we're gonna start with another dough ball here. Flour. just fold that over. This dough is really easily managed. It's a manageable dough, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so just flip it over. We're not going to use all of it. So this is just sufficient to cover our first layer. So I'm just going to rip off any excess dough here, which we can use for later. So we don't need that in this first layer here. So just put that off to the side. All right, just press down slightly over the edges. All right, so now we're just going to repeat the same thing, same process. Adding in some shredded ham. Again, you're just layering this. All right, really easy. We'll add in our bacon. Can't go without that bacon. All right, and we're just gonna add in our larger slices of chorizo. So just grabbing another dough ball here and getting your pin. All right, let's roll that over. Right over. So now we can manage one final layer here. Again, tuck your edges in. Same process. Gonna put in my shredded ham, our chorizo, our bacon, and our chorizo. All right, flour on our rolling pin. This is the last layer, just to cover the top of our meat bread. All right. So again, rolling it out to the size of the pan. Okay, just gonna fold that over. Gently put that over, all right? We're gonna use the excess dough for some decor. So just give that a nice press around your edges. Get any excess dough just over the flap of your roasting dish. All right, we're gonna fill in those holes as well. So just getting rid of the excess, we can use that to fill up these holes here. All right, just like so. All right, we're just gonna bring in the top edges of our dough. Just bring that in, give them a good flip, just to create a little bit of decor here on the sides. So just folding over the dough. All right, I'm just using my index fingers to do this. So just folding it over. All right, now that we've created some beautiful folds. All right, I just left a little bit of dough here. We're just gonna give this a bit of design. So just rolling up dough into a string. Just make some design, you know. This will look awesome on your holiday table. Just gonna roll out another piece of dough here. We're just gonna keep making a little bit of designs here. All right, we got those 3 beautiful lines. I'm just gonna add a bit of just some little dots here. Gonna look like a bit of like little polka dots. We're just trying to give this some decor. All right, make it look nice. When I make this dish for the holidays, I eat it with everything. As always, if you're a return viewer, a new viewer to the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. It's free. Hit the bell notification so that you're notified when I upload a new video, which I tend to do weekly. All right, that's looking great. We're just gonna... So I'm going to brush over an egg. That's just 1 beaten egg there with our brush. Again, the oven's already preheated to 350 degrees. All right, we're going to bake this roughly 45 minutes to an hour. Once we see a nice golden crust on the top of the meat bread, then we know it's ready to remove. All right. So I'm just going to put over some of this, just brush over some of this egg. This is going to give it a beautiful golden texture. All right, beautiful. All right, I'm going to put this in my oven to roast, to bake. Again, 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll come check on it. All right, guys, welcome back. It's been exactly an hour, and our delicious layered meat bread, Portuguese Bola de Carne, has come out the oven. It's been cooling for at least 4 hours. All right, we want this at complete room temperature. 4 hours, been cooling, been left out, just cooling outside the oven. All right, we're just gonna cut this. Cut this delicious meat bread. It's come out beautifully. Absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to come back in and give you guys a quick try here. All right, so I cut up a couple of nice squares here. Just gonna go for this slice here. All right, hopefully I can get it out nice for you guys. Maybe I'll just go for the corner bit here, the corner piece. All right, guys, so we got a nice slice cut out there. Look at those layers that we created. All of that delicious chouriço, bacon, ham. Here you have it. Bola de Carne. Portuguese layered bread, meat bread. All right. I would love to give this a try. Would absolutely love to give this a try. That's just looking fantastic there. Just look at that. Look at that there. There goes your bite, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Portuguese meat bread for Christmas. Absolutely fantastic. Try out my recipe, guys. I hope you do. Happy holidays, everyone. This is a beautiful recipe. You can try it with your family. Like the video if you enjoyed the content. As always, subscribe to the channel. All right, even if you're a new viewer, return viewer, hit the bell notification so that you're updated when I upload a new video weekly. Merry Christmas, everybody. All right. God bless. And I'll catch you on the next episode.